Hello, 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 everyone. Okay, another delay. No delay. It's you guys were 1 minute faster. I feel we are supposed to start at 8:30 itself. I hope everything is working fine on YouTube. Let's just quickly check that up. I think it's working fine. Great to see all of you back here on time. So today is probably the first mentor session, and ideally I should have invited somebody else, but I thought like let's just get done with my particular discussion at the start itself, so that we are done with probably me. I think many of you have already seen me on my YouTube channel, have seen the discussions that I have taken earlier, so you know a lot of things about me. But still, I just wanted to give you guys a rundown on my journey of CP so that you can learn a lot about it, right? That will be the goal for today. Echo, I don't think there is any sort of echo. Is there any echo? Is it clearly audible for all of you guys? Okay, people getting echo close Slack. Yeah, that's correct. If you guys have played the video on the Slack itself, then probably there is that as well. So close the Slack. Perfect. Okay. So today we'll talk about my journey, and this is not to kind of showcase what I have done or like how good I am. First of all, it's purely to showcase how I went through the journey, so that number one, you can take a little bit of inspiration. Plus, you can understand how things were for me, and probably pick few things that I did right. Okay, because this is something I feel you can always learn from someone that Vivek, what did you do right? Okay, this is something that generally should be answered by many people, and I think it's very like uh, hush hush topic. Like people just say, "Go practice," right? I have always seen people saying, "Go practice," but definitely somebody who is doing better than average is doing something right. Okay, so I feel you can always learn from people who have done good in any particular field. They might be doing something really good. Okay, let me just share my screen. Somebody's asking, what is your skincare? Bhai, it's just the light. Okay, it's the light. That's the trick. I mean, all of you guys might see a lot of YouTube shows or TV shows. The key of skin is lighting. Okay, how to crack Google's interview? We'll talk about these things. Okay, so I'll try to like kind of give you guys a little bit of perspective of how things went. Okay, and how things were. So there's no filter in this thing, but yeah, lighting is the key thing. Bro, do you have GF? Okay, okay, everybody has gotten to the actual questions. These are what people are interested in, right? Do you have, bro, do you have girlfriend? Wow. We'll talk about these things once we switch to Zoom when it's not on YouTube, probably. Okay. But yeah, let's start with like what I want to discuss today. Okay. So my journey was a little different from many of people over here, because probably I started in my first year, right? I started in my first year, and this was not that I started with competitive programming. I believe I was a little serious when I started with my first year, because what I see in today's time is people get into first year, and people get a lot of advice. Even when I went to college, I was from IIT, so I got a lot of pedigree in terms of a lot of good seniors and all. But no matter which college you go to, okay, you get a lot of advices around so many things. Ki, Vivek, do machine learning. Vivek, do data science. Vivek, do crypto. At that point, there is no crypto, but like today, I think people get these advice also. You need to do DSA. You need to do club activities and all. Vivek, you need to focus on CGPA. Some people say that focus on CGPA, right? Some people say go do Web3 today in today's time, right? So if you go to college, I think you will get a lot of seniors giving you a lot of advice. Even on YouTube there is too many advices, and believe me when I say this, you would be in a trouble if you try to do everything. Nobody who you see has done good has done everything. That's the reality. Okay, so when I started in my first year, I was serious. So I tried a little bit of data science because everybody was doing data science in my college at the start, because there are some clubs and all. And like there is this basic advice that you get, that there is a course of Andrew NG, right? Andrew NG on machine learning that you start with on Coursera. And everybody supposedly in my friend group was starting with that. So I also thought, okay, maybe machine learning, data science was hot in my first year, which is 2016, right? So we are talking about 10 years back, right? I was in my first year when I was in 2016. So this is 10 years back. So ML data science was something that was hot then. Nowadays, though, people have moved beyond it. I think still a lot of advices in my in today's time is same, right? So Andrew NG is what people used to suggest, but I did not like it much because during my JE days, two of my favorite subjects, if I had to give, was number one physics, right, and number two maths. Okay, obviously I hated chemistry. This was my personal thing. And I believe anybody who has physics or maths as their favorite subject should go into DSA. Okay. And if you had your favorite subject as chemistry, you should go into machine learning and data science. This is my recommendation to a first year. If you have maths or physics as your first recommendation, then go into DSA. Okay. And if you have chemistry as your favorite subject, which is there for many people, okay, which is there. My third was chemistry. In PCM, my third favorite would be chemistry. Or if you are a biology student, maybe I don't know, right? Right. Then go into this particular field. You will do good because in data science, I think it's a lot of memory based thing. Okay, it's a lot of memory based things. It involves a lot of maths. It involves math, but it's not like rigorous math. You don't have to prove something. Okay, the maths of ML is not deductive maths, which means you don't need to do multi-level steps of proofs yourself to be able to understand the maths. You need to understand a maths that is already proven, and that's it. But in DSA, I feel the core of it is logic building, right? And logic building is something, or you can say problem solving. This is something I feel is inherently there in these two subjects. Why? Think about physics, okay? Let's think about one subject called kinematics. There are three formulas, right? V equal to U plus AT, S equal to UT plus half AT square, right? Something like this. I don't remember nowadays. I have forgotten these things, right? Something like this. There are three formulas that people study, right? And if you have these three formulas with you, you need to use them to solve a lot of variety of problems. That's what DSA is also about, that you have limited amount of, yeah, quant can also be option. Yeah, quant I think is also an option, but I think it's a restrictive option because very few opportunities of that is available in general. But yeah, quant also. So problem solving is all about, given certain formulas, can you use it to solve n number of problems? Okay. And you should start with DSA. That's what my advice is. Then you can go into anything, whatever you like. I'm not saying that you should not do anything else, but this is something that my advice is. So I naturally started inclining towards DSA. Plus one more reason was I read on Quora, right? I got a little active and I started reading Quora back then because there was some, like, a lot of people writing that time in Quora. It was fairly hot. So there is, I think, a famous person. I don't know if you know him or not. Aman Goel. He was a top ranker, like, from earlier years, and I used to follow him on Quora. And I read. So he was like writing a lot of stuff, and I read about CP somewhere in his blogs that there is something called CP. People who are doing really good are probably going into companies like Google, Meta, that time, right? So these are like some, like, top companies, and I had no idea about that time. But then I was like, oh, kuch to acha hai. There's something better in this thing, and maybe if I learn this, then probably uh, I can get into it, right? So this is something I stumbled upon. And one more thing that happened in my first year was a fresher contest, right? So one thing that IITs are really good at doing, which I think is missing in many colleges, is that you get exposure very fast. right? So there was a fresher contest, and I was doing a little bit of like coding here and there in C++ myself, but I was not good at algorithms. I had not studied any algorithm back then, right? So when I started with like this fresher contest, I realized that someone in my batch was doing really good, and I was trying to, me and my friend, one of my friend Vivek, we were trying to solve the questions together. Like in first year, you try to cheat around in contest, right? There was this contest, and like chalo saath mein solve karte hain. So we're like, we will try to solve the questions, and we were solving these questions together. And one of my batchmates, he was able to solve almost all the questions of that contest, and we were trying to pull all strings, like calling some seniors, help, getting help from someone as much as possible, and still we couldn't solve all the problems of the contest. And that made me realize that okay, this is some next level thing. I am not sure what is happening, but like no matter how much help we are trying to get, we are not able to get to the top 1 2 rank. We came second and third. That guy came first. I was like, what is happening? So that guy had done some like CP before in school itself, so I was not aware about that time. But then it got me to a little ego ki bhai itna cheating karke bhi I couldn't get to rank 1. Okay, so I was like, okay, this is something I'll spend time on. So that is when I started doing CP. Who was that person? I think he did, like I'll not take his name, like but later on he did not pursue CP much. He's pursuing research at this point. Okay, I'll not name. He didn't do CP much, like you would not know him, right? He's a friend. I'll not take his name. But yeah, he did not do CP after joining college, like after first second years much. After he went to research side. So I eventually started doing CP in my first year. Like I started with the sites like CodeChef. I think you would, that time CodeChef was very famous. Even now it's famous, but that time it was even more famous in India. And uh, like I started with CodeShape. I could not solve much questions, and I realized that even though my maths is good because of GE, I was not able to solve a lot of questions because my maths that is required for CP is weak. Okay, so when I started, my maths was a little weak. It's not like my general maths was weak. It was, there are two topics in maths. One is number theory, and one is combinatorics. Even though I knew combinatorics from JEE, I did not know about like the standard techniques required in coding. And in number theory also, you need to know about sieve and all these things. So we don't know. I did not know these things, so I could not, like I did not know how to even check prime and all those basic things, right? So my maths was very weak. So that is when in my first year I started doing a site called Project Euler. How many of you have heard about Project Euler? Quick +1 in the in the chat. I'll show you the site. Let me show you the site. There is this site called projecteuler.com, right? So there are a bunch of problems. There are a lot of problems over here. And it's like you go to a particular problem and you see the question and you have to submit the answer here. What is the 10,000th prime, right? These kind of questions are there. So you have to find primes very, very fast. You have to check primes very, very fast. So you have to write code, find the number and put it in the website, right? This was the system. And it was a very good thing at that point in time. Nowadays, Vivek, sign in. I don't know my sign in of my first year, guys. I'll just check once if I have it saved by any chance. No, no, no. I don't remember my username password now. Okay, I've not done it now. There is a better site nowadays. Do you know? Do you guys know about Hacker Ranks Euler, uh, Project Euler Plus? So there is this site called Project Euler Plus. Okay, I think if you generally feel that your maths is a little weak, on your free time, you should try to solve these questions. My advice, one problem, one day, right? That is a good enough like speed at which you can try and complete. If you like it, then solve one more. Two problems every day. If you keep solving from this list, eventually in a year, you will get really good. CACS problem set has less problems. Like it does not have a lot of problems. In this, you will have a lot of problems. See, there are a lot of questions and there are a lot of good ideas. Okay, there are a lot of good ideas. In fact, I think Diophantine reciprocals, if I think about this question came in an ICPC regionals, and we were able to solve it, and a lot of teams were not able to solve it. Okay, this is the ICPC regionals question itself. Okay. Yeah, CSAS has 400 problems, but this has 400 problems of maths only. CSAS has like 400 problems of all. है ना? So this problem came in ICPC regionals, in my regionals itself. Okay. So this is something that I think you should definitely solve. This question is in AZ also, yeah, because it came in regional, so we added it in the platform also. It's a good trick to know. Okay, so there are a lot of tricks in maths that you need to know about, and that is why you should solve this particular set. This is one resource that I used, Project Euler, right? Yeah, this is one resource that I used for solving maths problems, right? This is one thing that I'll recommend all of you guys for this. Is IOI relevant for ICPC if starting in beginning? Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you are using ICPC, if you're doing ICPC or IOI, you will be already prepared for ICPC, right? I had solved only 50, 100 problems, but not much. But then it helped me enough, I feel. Plus, I had done a little bit of combinatorics for JE, so that helped. Okay. One more book that I will recommend, which made my math strong. I'll suggest a book. I don't know if you guys will be able to get a hold of it. It's just a personal recommendation. Okay. I'll just search for that book. Yeah, I had this book. Uh, so this is for Indian National Maths Olympiad, right? I had this book. Don't go by the name that it's too hard. Just try to read the solved example of this book. Okay, there is exactly two chapters that I'll recommend. One is number theory, one is combinatorics. Okay, there are two chapters that you'll have to try to complete from this book, specifically combinatorics. Second is like this. There are around 100 to 200 solved examples in this particular book. Okay, so, and there is a lot of logical deduction that you learn in this particular book. Many people are bad at CP because they are not able to do logical deduction. Okay, so this is why I feel you should read some maths proof book. Okay, share the book PDF. I don't have that at hand. Okay, I can like just read the name INMO by Rajiv Manoka, right? Just read the name, search it. I think most of you know how to get PDFs and all. I'll not recommend that though, but still, okay. Uh, so I tried to read through it. Okay, the combinatorics part of this particular book is really good. Okay, so this is something I'll highly recommend you all to read. Your maths combinatorics will get very good. Combi plus number theory from this particular book. That's enough. Okay. Implementation is a different thing. Implementation you will get improved by practice only, by questions. Okay. So the combinatorics of this definitely read. Okay. So these are the two things that I did which improved my maths significantly. And plus, apart from it, I was doing a lot of like random practice on sites. On CodeChef, I was solving easy questions slowly, one by one, randomly. Back then, there was only one site which you used to solve called Spodge. How many of you have heard about Spodge? Right, so I used to solve questions over here. Okay, so this is one platform which I have used significantly to solve questions back in my days. Okay, and I'll tell you, right? If you just sort by the number of users people have solved, and if you solve the first 300 to 400 problems, this is a recommendation by a teammate in one of my previous companies, right? I'll not name. Okay, I can name. I think Sahars. He's also a world finalist. He mentioned to me that if a junior wants to improve on Algo DS a lot, okay, They can just sort by users on Spot and solve the first 300, 400 problems, right? Okay. They will probably learn all different tricks that exists. Okay. This is something that I also agree to some degree. I mean, not every problem. Like, I think Spot is not the best resource in today's time, but I think back then it was the only resource and was really good problem set. Okay. So this is, I feel, one of the really good ways to start. Okay. So this is something that even you can start with. There are a lot of good techniques. Like, even if you go to this needle in a haystack, you're already learning about string algorithms. Okay. So you will learn about the KMP algorithm and all. Right. A lot of good inversion count, all these good techniques exist in this particular question. Okay. So this is 2016, 17. Understand that there are no YouTube, like there are very small YouTube videos. There are almost no resource on competitive programming. There are just Codeforces blogs available. Okay. Now, first 300 by the number of users solved. Okay. Ericto, I don't think used to create videos in 2016. He started later only. Okay. AdCoder was also not there when I was solving. It was just Codeforces and CodeChef. Okay. You see, by the way, if Vivek Gupta is saying that he is comfortable, know that he placed second globally in CodeChef long challenge. Even no, I did not outperform Codeforces, but yeah, in one contest, I think, yeah, it was not a long challenge. It was a local contest, but yeah, in that. So how should we follow Yusako? Hold. Yusako is a good resource nowadays. Okay, topic wise learning, but I feel there are two types of practice. One is topic wise, one is random. You should do both. Next cohort starting from which cohort are you talking about? We are talking about ICPSC camp. Link is in the below. If you haven't joined, join it now. That's it. Okay. Too many questions. Don't spam on the chat. I'll have to block you. Okay. So this is essentially 2 3 resources that I used at that time. Okay. Clear, everyone? You don't need to use this for now. I think a lot of resources will share, but this maths one, I think you can do as much as possible on your own time. Okay. If you spam, you'll get banned. That's all. Okay. भैया 900 I will क्या क्या बताऊं. I mean, please don't ask foolish question, guys. A lot of people I'm seeing that you're asking tips and all. अरे भाई अभी तो जर्नी पहले शेयर करने दो फिर टिप्स पूछो. Let us settle to the point where we are learning good things and then you can ask me, right? I'm already giving you tips. यही तो tips है. What more do you want from my side? Okay. विशाल मेगा मार्ट हो गए. Okay. I think this is what I was doing in my first year, right? So in my first year, one thing that I want to show you is this is my like old account on CodeChef. I did not follow it recently. This was like something I was doing in my like in 2016, 17, 18. If you ask me, Vivek, what were you doing in 2016, 17, 18? This is probably my account in 2016. Nowadays, the rating would be shifted a little downwards. Like if you see the 5 star then is a 4 star or 3 star now, right? So this is little like I think skewed, but again, this was how I was doing in my like first year. I was just participating, but I was not able to do much. This was like May, right? So I got a very major negative. Then after that, June challenge, June lunchtime, July challenge, September challenge, these were all long challenge. In 3 4 contests I was able to get to 5 star, which means I was probably doing something right in my summers, or definitely it was a little bit of practice over here too. But during my college time, like you have a lot of assignments and all and everything, right? So you don't get much time. But in my summers of first year, I think I did a lot of good practice, and like I think that is also something that I feel you all should do. Summers are the best time to practice, and this is probably the screenshot that I have also added on the website. Okay, Vivek, what did you do in the summers? Okay, I'll showcase few things that I did back then. I think they have changed the platform a lot. I don't like the new UI. But anyways, I used to practice on this site called Hacker Earth, right? I think you can still do that. So there was this site called Code Monk, which is, I think, fairly good for basic people when you are starting out and you want to start just learning programming. I think this is a good site to start with, right? Basics of input, output, and all. If you want to learn now, I think this is one thing that I feel you can start with your journey. This is one thing that I solved during that time. Okay. And apart from that, I realized I did two things. Okay. One, I learned about data structures and algorithms. Before that, I just knew C++, but that is not enough. Okay. We need to learn about DSA, and I started watching some theoretical course, right? So I did like a theoretical course of algorithms and data structures from Stanford on Coursera, right? So that course was good. It gave me an overview of the domain, and then I was able to solve a lot more questions in the contest. Like I understood what DP is, what binary search is, what graph is, and also on, right? So all these things I was able to do. So this is one thing I did. I binge watched a course from this. And second thing is I started with like practicing certain algorithms specific things. Like I realized that I am not able to do DP. So I started practicing a lot of DP questions from Hacker Earth back then. Like you don't need to do this, but I'm just showing you the resources that I used during my journey, so that it's not like, Vivek, you are telling me something else but you did something else. It should not be that. Okay. So this is one thing that I used. Second is there is something called as A2OJ ladder, right? I think I had posted about this also like earlier, right? There is something called as A2OJ ladder. Okay. So if you go over here, you can see that this is not something I did in the summers, but after that. But if you can see that I had solved a lot of problems of the A2OJ ladder, right? Like 48 problems of this range, this range, this range, and so on, right? See, on div2D ladder, I had solved almost the lot of problems from the start. Okay. So this is also like, so random practice on A2OJ. I believe that you should not do rating wise practice. You should do level wise practice. My personal belief is rating wise practice is not the best resource. Level wise practice is a better resource, right? Because then you get a lot of variance in the type of problems, and then that should be a better way of going through things. Okay. So this is one good resource, definitely. And apart from that, I was struggling with dynamic programming, so I did a lot of practice of dynamic programming on Hacker Earth. Right, this is what I did in my summers mostly, and I read a lot of good blogs from like different Codeforces sites. Okay, so I was reading random blogs, doing these things, doing longs, and I started performing fairly well. I still remember that I was able to, like, if you go to my profile, I'll show you again. Okay, this was my older profile, but during the initial days, I was not doing it. This is like Feb 2017 and all. This is also my first year summers. I went to specialist and all, right? Back then, the rating used to start from 1500, so it is like lower nowadays. But again, this is one more account like what I used to use back then. Up to AC, I have moved everything to AC Radar. Like I'd never used two accounts together, but older account had like bogus names, right? Like Cool Vivek, all these things. I moved it to AC Radar. Just random things that you do. But I still remember that I used to solve these long challenges by sitting down on questions for a very long time. Like if you go to September challenge, if you go to July challenge, I used to solve these questions very well. Like these are very, very good problems if you see the type of questions that were there, right? This Pisthi and tree, this is like Euler-Tor plus segmentary question on this, and I was able to solve it. This is DP on tree. So I was Like I did not know what DP on tree was, but I read tree, I read DP, I tried to figure out how to do this problem, and by sitting 2 days and writing code, I was able to solve this problem on myself, right? This is something that was really good about long challenges and that I used to love. And I spent a lot of time on long challenges. That is something that improved in my like skills a lot. Okay, so this is something that you would also need to do, like sit with problems for a little longer duration and improve. But again, we need to learn a lot of good tricks to be able to solve a lot of questions. Okay, Vivek, somebody is saying आपने भी algorithm लिया था ना? Algorithm तो मैं पढ़ाता हूँ. How could I do then? I wish something like algorithm existed back then, because what I did in 1.5 to 2 years, somebody can achieve that now in 6 months. Okay. Now, till now, I was doing almost things on my own. I had a friend Vedic from my first year who was also doing, but in summers I used to practice alone. I went back to home. There was 2 months of gap. I was sitting in AC doing CP all day long. I feel like 6, 7, 8 hours every day practice. That's all I was doing. Okay. Somebody is saying how to improve communication skill. Okay, that doesn't really, I feel, help. CP, doing CP doesn't help in communication. You have to do other things. Okay. Level wise practice, it was A to OJ. You don't need to do anything, guys. For you all, like, there is a handcrafted ladder already created on ICPSC camp. No, I had already shown you in the last day. If you go to the camp, you don't need to do any ladder except for these A, B, C, D. 200 problems is there. Just solve these problems. That's it. You will get enough growth. You will get enough growth out of this. Okay. Cool. Great. So this is my first year summers. So after first year summers, I was fairly good, but I then saw that in December there is something called ICPC. So I wanted to practice for ICPC. So I reached out to few seniors in my college, and I told them that hey, there was this contest in summers long challenges. I had ranked in one of them above you. Can you take me in your team? So they were happy enough to take me because I had showcased that I'm good. And this is one thing I highly advise, that you need to be good enough to be able to reach out to better people for taking you in the team, right? Because that way you can actually build a good team for ICPC. Okay. Yeah, these are easy problem set. Okay. So this is something that you will have to do. I started preparing for ICPC. We split topics for ICPC. I started topics like strings, doing practice on hacker rank on different sites, and then we prepared for ICPC. We gave ICPC. That year we could not even qualify online rounds. Okay, even though I was this good. One of the reasons was also because when you are from like an IIT, I was from IIT Kharagpur, right? So in my college, there are already a lot of good teams. They would qualify. Plus, on that day, we could not solve one decider question. Like, right? There are different questions, and you have to solve, say, third problem to get shortlisted in the contest. We could not solve it, even though it was doable problem for us. That day, we could not solve it. So, like, we could not get selected for this, and I was fairly sad because, do you understand, right? I am already doing CP for almost 6 months now, and I could not qualify for ICPC regionals also. I was like, I'm 5 star, but I'm still not able to qualify. That was, I think that time my average rating was like probably 1500 or so. Like everybody was 1600 kind of thing. Like we wanted to just qualify to regionals. We obviously could not get to world finals back then, but yeah. But then I saw the team who qualified to regionals from our college and who eventually went to world finals. I feel that I felt okay. They are anyways at a level where we cannot match, right? You hit depression? Not really depression. I was sad, but then I also saw seniors who were really good. I don't know if you guys know Pranjal Sangdar. Like he was one of my seniors in college, and I saw his profile. And he qualified to regionals that year. Plus, he qualified to world finals. He's right. Like I don't know. I should show his profile. He's also ICPC world finalist, 2 times world finalist, in fact. Probably I'll message him once, like if he wants to join us on the camp. Right. So he is in XAI right now. Right. So his trajectory. So he went to Facebook first, and then he went to OpenAI, and then he's now in XAI. Right. So Pranjal is also there. So I used to see his profile, and back then on A2OJ, like there was also a way to stalk people, like people who have connected their profile. You could see what problems they had solved. So there were two people who I used to follow a lot. One is Pranjal, another is Jatin Yadav. He still codes, right? So I believed that if I solve all problems that these guys have solved on sites like Codeforces and Spodge, then probably I'll become as good as them, right? Do you know Anudip Nikriti? Yeah, I know Anudip. Like I have talked to him on chat, at least on LinkedIn. I had recommended few juniors for internship under him. So yeah, I know Anudip also. Like I know like Anudip, and most like I'm connected to some of the world finalists definitely. Uh, have you met Kalash? I haven't talked to him, but I have seen him in the world finals. Like me and Kalash were in the same year of world finals, right? Kalash, you can say. Okay, so this was the goal. So I followed Jatin Yadav and Pranjal's profile, and I used to solve the question that they had solved. And they had solved a lot of good maths problems. So I solved them, and that definitely helped me improve. Okay, so probably that's also a strategy, that copy someone's problem sets that they have solved, and that will make you improve as good as them, probably. Okay. So post that, I then reached out to few of my batchmates. Nitish was in my same department, so we met in college in classes from second year onward. So he was also doing CP in first year summers for ICPC, in second year for ICPC. So after ICPC, like we talked, we started practicing together. Then I met Shubham. He was also doing CP in my college, so I reached out to him, brought him into our team, and that's how like we built our team. Me, Nitish, Shubham. By the way, Shubham I think should be in the other room right now. He's my flatmate in Bangalore. He's a senior software engineer at Google right now. And Nitish is also senior software engineer. I think these guys are going to teach you all in the camp as well. And he's in US right now. So uh, like formed the team, plus we started practicing fairly hard. So in second year, I think if you ask me what did I do, I started practicing topic wise. And probably that one thing that I might have gone through is probably some really good resources that existed on Codeforces, right? I was reading through blogs, solving questions of different topics, right? I was learning a lot of new topics. Probably this one resource is one good thing. Like probably all different topics that exist, I did not go through all of them, by the way, guys. Whatever was required, I learned them. But this is what like probably I was doing, going through a uh, lot of questions or topics blog. Okay, I'll share the resource on the Slack. Okay, so this is essentially there. And by the way, guys, don't get overwhelmed by the number of resources I'm showing. I did this across like multiple years, right? And resource, I mean, in today's time, I don't think resource is lacking, right? Generally, it's the structure and the zeal to complete it. That's what is lacking in most cases. And when you are in a camp like this, what happens is, since all of us like 500, 600, 700 people are doing the camp properly, you will see people around you doing things so much that you would be motivated to complete. And that's why like it's good to join a camp like this. It's not for the content, it's not for the like maybe the mentorship. Also probably you might get mentorship on YouTube also at times, but just being in a group where people are like kind of pushing things together, you get to improve a lot. Okay, so this is something what I was doing, plus giving Codeforces contest. I think that was another thing that I was doing. Probably you would see most of my growth during that time. Like probably this is like July 2017, August, September, October. Like I was expert for a long duration. This is like probably 2018 October. Okay, this is 2017. 2017 October I was expert. 2018 October also I was expert. right? So probably for 1 year as in expert zone. I think by that time I might have switched to AC radar. I don't know. I'll check. Yeah. Yeah. Then I probably shifted to AC radar, and then I used to give contest on this one. Right. So this is what I used to do mostly. Okay. Uh, this is what essentially all of it looks like. Most of my practice regime, right? Reading blogs, doing practice, sitting with my friends, and giving, preparing for ICPC, right? I gave ICPC in the next year. We qualified for regionals. We went to Asia West finals also in one of the things, but I mean, we were not ready for world finals, obviously. We got to a good rank, like 13th, 17th, and got good things. How did you learn web development? I did not. My web development skills was only limited to basic HTML, CSS. That's it. I did not learn HTML, CSS, learn web development in my college. I would rate myself 1 out of 5 in web development when I was sitting for internship and placement. I had not built sites. I just knew scraping and some Python code here and there. That's it. I had not done web development. Okay. But times have changed now. If you're looking for jobs and all today, then you should do all of it, DSA and Dev. Okay. I was like champion at DSA by the time internship placement came, uh, but I did not do anything else. Okay. Cool. So that is what I was doing, and majorly practice of ICPC. यही करता था मैं यार. I was doing practice for ICPC all. Okay. After college, if no, you have to be a college student. ICPC full form is Intercollegiate Programming Competition. So it's college competition. Okay. I learned web development after joining 0xPPL actually, or Google. Okay. For CDC, I was just doing DSA very strong, and then I had projects in my resume. One project I did at Kolkata Police and stuff, so that helped me. Anyways, today is not about internship placement. Today we are talking about my CP journey. So in third year, we came back from regionals. We understood that next year we have to get to world finals. And that would be last attempt for my teammates because they were 4 year student. I was a dual degree student, so I had 5 years in my college. So we divided like topics of different sites. So what we did was like say, I'll just move to this. Say it will be Vivek, Nitish, and Shubham, right? And we would divide topics. Like say I will do strings, Nitish will do DP, graph, Shubham will do a lot of data structures, maths, right? I'll do more like some advanced stuff like FFT here and there, game theory, right? Some boring stuff, right? So we divided topics like this, like what will go to which person, right? So that we can solve harder problems of each topic because we cannot become expert in all the topics together, right? There is limited time. So I think this is what I was doing in my third year for after my second attempt at ICPC, that I had to become good at this. And like oftentimes, like even for the last attempt, like me and Nitish, we had sheets like this. Like I was searching for this sheet. So we were solving CS Academy problems. And if you see, we had some list of questions that we handpicked. Then Nitish was also solving which topic it is, what comment did you have. I also like used to solve these. Like these were hard topics. By the time this was third attempt, I was already good, and I was learning good things. I used to write, see, proof of variant is very nice, logic समझ आ गया, code नहीं किया, whatever it is. क्या ऑटोमेटा बना रहा है, उसका मैच कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. ओके, औकात का बाहर का हेडहॉक है. ठीक है. These were the comments that I used to write. Yeah, so this is what we used to write in comments of whatever we were doing, right? There was some more practice we were doing here and there. Okay. It's not relevant. Don't ask for links. There is nothing relevant in these questions. These are hard CS Academy problems. There are so many problems that this will not help you anyways. Okay. Uh, so this is what the like folks were doing. Probably Nitish and Shubham can share their individual journey as well. I also was like it from third year onwards. We went to fourth year. We were now practicing very very hard for world finals this year. I used to practice like a lot of questions, like questions from Codeforces gyms. We used to give contests on labs every week, and we used to solve some hard problems from gym. I used to do some random problems from different sites like Azu and stuff. Like these are Japanese contest problem sites. Then used to solve from very very different sites like Codeforces problems, some Spoj problems, VJudge problems, right? Some PKU problems, some Chinese side problems. These are good problems of Burnside lemma, right? So there are like very beautiful problems around them. I used to pick them and solve certain hard problems randomly. Probability plus DP. I used to solve very very hard problems. So see the sites POJ, right? HDU, right? These are Chinese. So I used to practice from Chinese websites a lot. Okay, I used to translate them and practice. So that is their VJudge. I think you guys know. Logo would be another site. So these are like extremely hard problems. We had divided a little bit of sites also because I felt that like Codeforces has a theme. Like if you go to @coder, this is like very senior level stuff. These are for people probably above 1900 at this point, but we were already like 1900 plus by this point. Okay, these were like already 2.5 years doing CP. So now my routine during my autumn semester, this is my fourth year first semester, right? My daily routine was wake up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, go to CCD. We had subsidized rate in a campus. Eat at CCD one devil's own and one sandwich. Then go to computer lab, give one 5 hour gym contest, go back, have some Maggie, have some dinner. Okay. Then go to room, upsolve the questions, and done for the day. So every day we were giving almost a contest, or we were sitting in the room and doing practice, whatever we had to do. Okay. This is what I was doing almost every day. Or when you are doing practicing, you can learn a lot of good techniques like Gaussian elimination. And these are like advanced topics, not required at this point. These are like 2200. These are all 2200 to 2900 rated problems on Codeforces. It will not help you at this point. But like, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of questions that I used to solve. Like, see, I picked problems from Hacker Rank and all. There's a lot of very good tricks, right? Like how to find Fibonacci GCD, like see, very very simple trick, right? How to find GCD of two Fibonacci numbers, right? How do you know this? Oh, sorry, this is GCD of matrix. I think they have changed something. I don't know. How to find LCM of an array of Fibonacci numbers? How to find GCD of Fibonacci numbers? They're really really good tricks. Okay, and like so the thing is these problems are not relevant. I have not, so I had listed a lot of questions. I have not solved a lot of questions also. And it does not help you to solve these questions. Okay. It's just any problem that has a lot of good tricks. But then I just learned a lot of new things while solving these things. Okay. Like some random question I was able to solve, like super probability of mod 99971, that cubes of every number repeat after a cycle of 48. You need to know this to solve this question. Unless you know this, you cannot solve this question, right? So these kind of techniques, Hooke's theorem of Young matrix, like unless you know this, you cannot solve this question, right? So there are a lot of beautiful ideas that I learned in a lot of new questions. And like at the level of world finals, it's like, do you know the beautiful idea that exists in this particular problem, right? Game theory related problems, string related problems I used to practice a lot, right? Suffix structures, lex kth machine, whatever. These are some structures I built myself only, like kth lex engine, whatever these are. I think you'll not find any blog also on these things. Okay, so this is what I was doing almost every day. 50 related problems here and there that I was solving from different sites. Okay, some morass. So there was a seat called morash. advanced data structure related problems. So if I open randomly a question, if you see from this side, the rating of that would be 3100. Okay, so there is no point in solving these things at this point. Like this is like a DLX linking problem. This would be 3100 again, right? So there is no point in solving this sheet at this point. I was going through a lot of different ideas, but at that level, it's like when you want to win competitions, when you are like when you want to win competitions, you have to know every trick that can possibly come at the last question. So this is essentially the type of practice that you do. And believe me, many people when they see me, they feel like I might be good with IQ or I might be good with maths. No, I have done extreme amount of practice. Whatever I've built across years, the skills, it's extreme amount of practice. Yeah, I can see absolve nahi hua. Yahi karta tha bhai. Legit, there are tons of problem that I've left that I could not absolve, I could not find code of, I could not understand because there was nobody to teach, right? Okay. There was this contest that we gave IE Extreme, IEEE Extreme. I think my team came first in India in this one. But this was one contest that was really good and all the questions were really, really good. This is weekly trainings of TWIPC, a Codeforces group. Camp training, there was a Yandex camp, Hello India 2018. There I was solving some questions from there. There is CodeChef preparatory contest where I solved a lot of questions. Meet in the middle related practice, randomized algo related some questions here and there as reading. I don't know what I've kept here. I was collecting some problems of tree related questions like HLD, centroid and all. I have not I see I have listed a lot of things, I have not solved them. Okay. Okay. And I think many of you are like, Vivek, share the sheet and all. कोई फायदा नहीं है. एक question ही solve करोगे. I am already giving you guys good problem collection in the camp. उतना करो, enough है. Flow related things. There is a Codeforces group called Hunger Games. There are a lot of good questions over there. That's all that. Convex hull related problems. I was going through some of these. I did not absolve all. Right. Multi-university. There was some multi-university challenge going on VJudge. These are good questions. Okay. CACS, I had solved some questions. I was just going through the list. These are advanced problems I did solve back then. Okay, some problems. Then there's a site called DMOJ. There was a lot of good question. Okay. There is something called as DP optimization. So I used to solve questions of that. There are CHT, DP rerouting, Lagrange interpolation, 1D, 1D DP, right? I just saw like I was starting CodeChef medium level questions at the start. Yeah, a lot of such questions. And I think one thing that I'll recommend most of you is to build a sheet like this where you put the question link. देखो इतना तुम लोग को नहीं करना है. This is like 3 years, which is for ICPC. Okay. First get to 1900. This is beyond 1900 at this point. Okay. But the thing is, if you write the question link, write the concept, write how should you have solved this question, which form of the topic it comes in, any tactics involved in the question, and any debugging issue you made, make a sheet like this. Okay. Whatever you are solving in the cap, you will get to learn so much later on when you go through it. During ICPC, I used to revise the problems that I had solved earlier. I am not a genius person. I'll tell you. It's extreme amount of practice that has led to me getting good at coding. Okay? It's extreme amount of practice. Okay. So build a list like this that every question that you're keeping, write the concept, write the technique. How did you think about it? Number of unique paths is a counting problem. Since the dimensions are 100, backtracking not possible. So since there are obstacles, there are dynamic constraints. So should be DP. You cannot do maths in this problem. Counting problems can only be backtracking, DP, and maths. So it should not be it cannot be backtracking, it cannot be maths, so it should be DP. In DP, it's a path problem, so it should form in either form 2 or form 1, which is something I've taught in my DP workshop. And since this is a path problem, it's a form 2 problem. So you go into form 2 and then you solve the problem. This is how you should think about questions. I don't think about questions randomly. This is what goes in inside my head when I see a problem. If you could not solve a questions, once you read the editorial, write this on your sheet. If you do this, you will become 1900 by the end of this camp. CM के लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? If you are solving all the questions given in this camp and if you are writing this sheet, I can guarantee you that you will become almost at a level of 1900 MCF. How did you make frameworks? Please teach this thing. To make frameworks, you have to solve 5,000 problems. You cannot do that. A teacher only can do it. You cannot do it. Okay? I can do it because I have solved 5,000 problems now. You cannot do it. I've seen 5,000. I've solved 3,000. Seen 5,000 problems by now, probably. So I can do this. You cannot do. You cannot build framework. You cannot write a book about CP. No, it's not possible because you have not enough sample cases. Yeah, so you can maintain all questions, whatever is going on, and you can maintain another like column that okay, solved or not. Okay. Yeah, you can make sheet of my question. You can make sheet of your own questions. Practice also everything. Okay. How to become AI ML engineer as fresher non IITN? कहाँ है जॉब? कहाँ है जॉब AI ML इंजीनियर का? ये कहाँ लग रहा है लोगों का? मुझे तो नहीं दिख रहा. I don't know why so many people are studying AI ML so much, because believe me when I say this, there is not enough job for freshers in AI ML. ठीक है? So I don't know who is teaching so many AI, Gen AI courses and all. There is not enough jobs of ML, AI. Okay, it's general SD only. Okay. Okay. So this is what I used to do, and probably by the end of my fourth year, like we used to do practice of topic-wise things of 2,700 rated problems of Codeforces and all. And that year we attempted ICPC World Finals. Um, I'll show you one small thing, which is I feel I feel something that will get you to I think if you guys understand ICPC, it's a level-wise competition, right? But this was me and my team. Probably, I'll just start from here. This is me and my team representing my college and India in ICPC World Finals in Russia. Okay, that year. So this is something that happened in 2020, which is extraordinary for me because I was chasing this dream for almost 3 years now. Okay. We went to Asia West Finals, and then from there we got a slot for World Finals, right? That year it became COVID, so we couldn't go to World Finals that year. And in the next year, Russia made specific provisions so that we could attend. So this is 2021 in Russia, right? And yeah, I think that was almost like a closer to my CP journey to some degree, and I feel very gratitude about whatever I achieved in CP. And nevertheless, I thought maybe getting to World Finals might give me a lot of happiness, but probably when I see on the hindsight, um, I think like just the journey itself was the most important thing that I remember. Okay, so yeah, this is the moment. Who were my teammates? This is Shubham, this is Nitish. They both are right now senior software engineers in Google. Okay. So few more things, Vivek, from your journey, give me some tips for this particular domain. Okay. One is start early. This is me at the age of 2 doing CP, doing coding so that I can become world finalist. Right? Just kidding, guys. This is me at the age of 2, sitting on a computer, just waiting for it to start. My father used to do part-time job of, I think, converting books to digital notes back then. It earned good bucks, and I only played games till class 12th. I have not done any coding till class 12th. Okay, क्लास 12 तक मैं बस गेम ही खेला हूँ, सी एस वी एस काउंटर स्ट्राइक एंड 1.6 वो सब उस टाइम पे खेलते थे हम लोग. सो आई ओनली प्लेड computer games. But after my first year, I think I started fairly early, and that was very helpful. Okay. Uh, so start early. The whenever you get time, if you are in first year, second year, start early. That helped me a lot. Okay. Yeah, I had a very basic. I used to play games, like I don't remember the software which makes the games fool that there is a graphics card in CPU. What's that called? I don't play games anymore. There used to be a software, some demon running behind the scenes, which gets your game feel like there is a GPU, and yeah, you can now play Prince of Persia and other games on laptop, on your computer. So I used to do all those things, download internet, download cracked games and stuff. But yeah, I started in my first year, and that's something that uh, helped a lot. Okay, understand that it's like gymming. I feel keep a perspective of doing it for a long time. It will take you time to improve. I went from this to world finals in approximately 3 years. How can you do it in 6 months? It's not possible. ठीक है. But yeah, whatever I grew in 1.5 years, probably you can do it in 6 months if you are dedicated enough. Okay, because I wasted a lot of time. And another thing that I'll advise is start with a team. Thankfully, I found Nitish and Shubham in my college who used to practice with me. I think that kind of kept me together. Okay, so yeah, this is 3 advices that I'll give for all of you. Okay, and one more thing that I'll say is probably have some dreams. I mean, if you don't have dreams, then you would not chase something like this. Okay, if you don't have CPers in your college, there have been good solo CPers created from a lot of colleges in India. So don't worry about it. Become really good, and you will attract all the other best people in your own college. You will, in fact, inspire people to do better in your own college if you are doing good in CP, and people see that you are doing good. This is how cultures are built in colleges. When 1 2 seniors are doing really good, then eventually people start getting better in their own college, and eventually they get good. Okay, so definitely chase that. Okay, post that, once I got to world finals, I remember i I taught in a camp. I started teaching in my third year school students in US for this competition called USACO. So that helped me get some extra dollars, and improved my English certainly a lot, because in my college circle I was communicating with everyone in Hindi. So my English communication and explanation skills were not very good. So I started teaching because I was good at CP, but I was not good at English. So I started teaching to school students in US from, uh, I got them from random connection here and there. But yeah, I did used to like do that, and post that I started teaching in my college also in code club classes. Post that, then we started, like after COVID happened, then I started teaching in AZ. Did you hear about Humble Fool? Yeah, definitely. Did you got news interview after ICPC World Finals? No, no, no. You There are different perks for ICPC World Finals. They are not news and all. Okay. So this is essentially my journey. Probably, I hope some of you felt a little inspired that okay, this is something that you want to chase, and it's a very fulfilling journey. I feel like eventually when you reach to World Finals, you feel like okay, it's it's something that you can definitely aim for. And the fallback is, even if you don't make it, I feel you will eventually do really good in life. Okay. So this is something I just wanted to share with you all before we class start with classes tomorrow onwards. How did you fear? How did you handle fear in your journey all the way? I did not. I did not had much fear. I just did what I loved. I was loving doing CP. I was not forced to do CP. If you are forcing yourself to do CP, that, oh, I'll get some placement, I'll get world finals, it's not the case. After reading every problem on Codeforces, I used to go like, भाई क्या ही अच्छा problem है, मजा आ गया है देख के. Sometimes I used to go like that, and that's why I think I was able to sustain it for 3 years. Okay. One curious question: any best CP non-circuital programmer you met ever? Yeah, my teammate Shubham was non-circuital. He like my flatmate right now. He's a senior software engineer at Google. Um, in just 4.5 years, right? Almost like he was in Microsoft, did a promo jump and moved to Google, did a promo internally. He's one of the fastest promoted person in Google, and I think he's doing fairly well. And he was from electrical. Like, then I have had friends on this also, non CS. He's circuital, but non CS. Then I have had friends on other department also who was doing non circuital means non CSEC. Then I'm just saying he's EC, not CS at all. Okay. Yeah, I think level 3 DSA should be target for this. How did you manage college? Okay, very good question. How did you manage college, Vivek? I did not. I had good friends to manage college for me. मतलब आई यूज टू ठीक ठीक असाइनमेंट्स मुझे मिल जाते थे बस दैट्स इट ओके cool proxy a little bit yeah definitely wherever it's possible. I still remember there was a prof who used to come with biometrics in classes, and like uh, like I used to go to the classroom like 10 minutes or last 5 minutes before the class ends, and when the class ends everybody jumps to the front desk to give the biometrics. So I used to just sneak in and just get the biometrics and go out. So I've done all these things in my college, obviously, however way it's possible. Okay. uh, Thanks to one of my friends, Sarthak, I think a lot of my assignments got sorted, and like I had mentioned that in one of my videos also. So yeah, I mean that's how. I mean, I'm not very proud of it. I think probably you should study well. If you're in CS, then definitely your subjects help a lot later on. But then, if you want, you should spend some time over there. Okay. आपका CGPA कितना था ये तो रिवील नहीं करेंगे, ठीक है. CGPA UGPA रिवील नहीं करते, but it was good. So I am one of those people who studies before the exams and gets decent marks, or good marks actually, you can say. How Google? So Google was, so I used to give Kickstart. In Kickstart, I had fairly good ranks, like under 100 globally, multiple times in Kickstart. So I was shortlisted for internship of Google through that in my college. Like I got shortlisted outside, but then HR said that will come to your college. So we'll take your interview then. So got my interview there. Easy only, like Google interview for me, I'll say it was easy. Like one of the round was almost like rapid fire. So because if you do CP DSA at that level, like interviews of most DSA rounds are very easy for you. Okay. Algorithm to Mang, no, it's just a temporary site. We don't, like, the company's name is Algorithm only. Mang, like, because old batch were doing the course in algorithm.com, and we had to make a new website, so we made it on mang.in. Probably we'll move it back to algorithm.com. Okay. What OJ will you suggest for ICPSC camp? Code forces bhai और क्या? And at coder. When I thought about CP31 sheet, all sheets are good, yeah. Any collection of, so I just showed you a sheet in front of you which I use, which is random questions I picked from different sites. Okay, you can do any site. Okay. One more book that I forget to mention. Yeah, somebody is mentioning in the chat. I think CP3 करके एक book आता है, which is very good. I think many people should read it. It's a good book for DSA CP. Okay. I read that book and that definitely helped me. So CP3 करके एक book है, definitely helps. CSCS का भी एक book आता है, but I think CP3 is much better. Can you recommend me to any startup if you reach CM? I think like if you are doing AZ premium, then we have placement cell that gets you opportunities and all. I think I'll post about it sometime soon, but like we have hiring partners, companies which we have tie up with, which we try to bring task and get people interviewed in. So interview to dila dete if you are solving all and doing things. And I think the placement cell will full-fledgedly activate from July onwards. That's what I'm trying to build. I think the only moat a good edtech in today's time is placement cell. Uske alawa, I think nothing else matters, and it's very hard to get people placed. But yeah, I mean that should be a work of a net. Like, so your work should be to study, and some companies' work should be to get the network to get you in front of the interviewer. So that's what we try to do. Okay. And probably the top 3 people from the camp, chalo, I'll allow them also in the placement cell. Okay. Okay. Cool. So that is all. Bhaiya, can I join camera? Yeah, you can join. Non-IIT to Google as fresher. Many people have joined, no? IQ rating matter करती है, not much. Till 2100. Yeah, no, you don't get referral if you cross a certain rating. Like the scale at which I deal with students, it's not possible for me to get so many things. Do you know Sumit Sirgure? Yeah, yeah. I have talked to him also. Like he's a 1 year senior, but I have talked to him enough, I feel, during my time. I know all the like my college seniors, I know everyone. I'm not in touch with everyone to be very honest, but yeah. Cool. Ideal rating to crack Google. I think 1600 plus. I have taken interviews in Google, and people who are 1600 plus have performed fairly well, at least to my interview. Cool. Chalo. So in this class we'll not teach basic maths. Okay, we'll start with number theory and combinatorics and all these things, but I'll not teach you absolute basics. I'll give you pre-reading material, and based on that we'll learn. Tomorrow's class will be a little easy or intermediate, but next class onwards I'll give you pre-reading, and from there you'll have to study first and then come to the class. Okay. Cool. Chalo, that will be all. Anything above 1600 is good on rating. Okay. Chalo, that will be all from my side, everyone, for today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's session. We'll discuss more things as we go through, but I hope you're excited for the grind. Okay. Thanks, everyone, for joining in. We'll meet again to tomorrow at 8:30. Right. So that will be all. Cool. Chalo. Thanks, everyone, for joining in. Bye bye. Have a good night. तो प्रीमियम वाले पे करने बोल रहे हैं कैम का. So if you're in premium, like you'll get the camp content after the camp ends. So that's the system. Like live lectures may access milna is not possible because there are fixed slots. So indefinitely we cannot give access to all in the live classes and all. You will get the access later on. Anything if you're in premium, you get access to all static thing that happens later on. But then live classes ke liye to yaar, people who are in the camp would get the slots because limit hai na Zoom ka, so we cannot do that. Okay, chalo, that will be all from my side. Thanks for joining in, everyone. We'll meet again in the next class. I have mentioned everything in the stream. Watch it again. Okay, bye bye. Have a good night.